Titus chapter number 2, verse number 14 says, who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. This world pressures Christians to fit in. Talk like us, dress like us, watch what we watch, accept what we accept. Just do not be different, right? But Jesus Christ did not save his people to blend into the crowd. Titus said he made us a peculiar people. That does not mean weird for the sake of being weird. It means we belong specifically to him. And if we belong to him, that ought to show. Our values should be different. Our priorities, they should be different. Our speech should be different. Our homes should be different. Our entertainment should be different. Our treatment of people should be different. Our response to sin should be different. The world should not have to squint to see that we belong to Christ. This does not mean living differently earns salvation. It does not. Salvation is by grace through faith in Jesus Christ. But Christian, once you belong to him, quit being ashamed. When obedience makes you stand out, don't be ashamed by it. Push forward for the Lord. The goal is to be so committed to Christ that when the crowd goes one way and the Bible points another, there's no question which way you're going. Too many Christians are afraid of being called old-fashioned or narrow-minded, too strict or too serious. Quit letting people who do not fear God shame you out of obeying God. You do not need the world's approval to live for Christ. You belong to Jesus. Live like it. During the 1980 Winter Olympics, Coach Herb Brooks worked relentlessly to turn the United States hockey team from a group of individuals into one team with one identity. Coach Brooks would ask for each player to identify themselves, and repeatedly players would say their name and the town they were from over and over and over. And during one brutal practice, Mike Irizone finally answered Coach Brooks. He said, I play for the United States of America. That was the point. Identity changes how you live. Christians, settle this. Who do you belong to? You belong to Jesus Christ. That ought to settle some decisions before the pressure ever comes. We play for the Lord Jesus Christ. When the crowd compromises, you already know who you belong to. When people mock, you already know who you belong to. When obedience makes you different, you already know who you belong to. Your identity should affect your direction. A peculiar people is a people who belong specifically to God. We are his possession. We're not called to take our values from the culture around us. We're called to reflect the character and priorities of the one who owns us. God's people should never be ashamed to look like God's people. Do not apologize for living a life that pleases the Lord. Do not lower biblical standards because somebody thinks you're strange. Do not let the fear of standing out become stronger than your desire to obey Christ. Get okay with standing out like a sore thumb, Christian. You may get mocked. You may lose popularity. You may not fit in, but it's better to stand with God and be different than fit in with a crowd going the wrong direction.